俺はルフィ、海賊王になる男だ。
It's a great day here at Kekfilet's YouTube channel. I am the Kekfilet, and today I have a sort of a smaller, interesting video, a little more beginner friendly with Doflamingo, and I am tired of Doflamingos making these mistakes, and I want to spell it out for you. You guys could share this to your Doflamingo friends that could use a little bit of extra help and to stop making these really beginner mistakes. I don't have any of these mistakes kind of listed out. I'm just actually going to be going based off of something that I was teaching Bunny or Ace Bunny on Twitter the other day. Let's start from a clean slate and get a general idea about Doffy. And where this is coming from, It's Enigma had a quote I saw on Twitter, and he was saying that he loves setup decks that have a big win condition, and most of the game you have to prepare to safely execute the win con. Really is like a top strategy, and really with any deck, including Doflamingo, you have sort of a win condition. There is a pre-board thing that happens during the whole game that generally leads you to more consistent wins. So if you follow this, you're going to get more consistent wins. Not the wins where you're barely hanging on, you barely win by 1k. I'm talking consistently winning where you have a clear advantage. That's kind of Doffy's point. Doffy is rarely barely winning. They might win by a turn or 2 turns entirely. They just get that much advantage and value. First of all, what I want you to get is your deck out so you have an idea, and also get a notepad and a pen. We are going to write down actual notes on some things you want to take advantage of. Number one, you need to realize that Doflamingo is not an early game deck. It is a mid game deck. So you can write down mid game deck. You don't need to be so aggressive early game and start putting things out and making moves as soon as the game begins. No deck actually really tries to do that. There are certain cases, but really there's a flow to the game, and you can do a lot more with more done. Your number one priority with Doflamingo is to win the board. Right? Win board. How do you win board? You need to play cards, right? And you need to defend the cards that you have on the board. Since your board's going to be playing out, your opponent's going to be attacking that board if they come in rested or are rested because you attack with them. So defend your board. Number two, general advice. We always want to attack our opponent's board, not giving them a chance to really utilize that to get cards out of your hand. So attack opponent's board. Attacking our opponent, their life, is kind of giving them more fuel. Again, letting them help win board and defend their cards, which is very frustrating. Number three, don't rest characters early on. You might have a turn where you actually don't even rest a character, even though you called it out and you can attack with it. Don't rest characters, and this is more saying early. Okay, because your main goal is winning board with defending your board, you actually need to take damage to get cards to defend your board with. Number four, it is harder to deal with 2 characters than 1. So 2 is harder to deal with than 1. Okay? Generally, I think that's obviously symptomatic of what's going on. And then when you have a full board, it becomes pretty much unstoppable. You're calling over cards, right? And I want to kind of put this in practice to give you guys an idea. I'm obviously just going to grab my deck and understand that, you know, I'm just picking cards out of here so you have an idea. So let's say, for example, we're playing Doflamingo. We're going second. Our opponent goes first. They take their first turn. You go second. You most likely, hopefully, have a card that you can play on your 4-Dawn turn. Let's say it's one of these. Let's say we're not lucky. We don't pull a Jinbei. We just pulled one of these two. Let's say a Gecko. We at least have some option. Side note, I do want to say a big tip. I actually do agree with playing Perona if you're going second, if you consider about picking up a law. If you find a law, might be really good to always play this Perona so you can follow up with, let's say, Jinbei Law, or playing Law to pick up the Perona to have them pick up their 4 cost. But regardless, they go. Your opponent is on their 3-Dawn turn. They're going to attack you. You have no cards rested. They're going to attack you. And you're going to take it. I don't care if they swing only 5k. You're taking that right to the face. You're drawing that card from your life to your hand. You want a big hand. On your 4-Dawn turn, now you take it. And let's say, for example, you just play out a Gecko. We're just trying to get a card on the board. Again, our goal is to win the board state. Okay? And from that, on your opponent's next turn, they don't have anything to swing at. You didn't play a rested card. They want to hit you in the face. If they swing 5k at you, 7k, 6k, it doesn't matter. Take it. There is a small question, is if you're worried a little bit about putting, or if you can guard out of it and get value off of something like a Gecko, but that's only if that's the only option, because you can always Gecko later. Okay. Now on your next turn, obviously the best card to play is a Boa, so you can play out Boa and use a leader skill to call the top card on your deck rested. And now you have this card also rested, right? Because you could attack with it. Now you have 2 cards that are rested. It's more difficult to deal with that. On top of that, you should have a larger hand to let you draw more cards and defend your board a lot easier. Once you have this kind of thing established, the only thing that removes it is that they swing too big and you can't really efficiently guard out, or if they remove it with other skills, which should be possible on your opponent's 7-Dawn turn. From here, you actually just kind of play the game as normal, vanilla, poking, clearing your opponent's board, only trying to win board. If they don't have a board, you hit their face. It only depends if you don't really care about putting a card in their trash, or the card's insignificant, or I don't know, maybe you have other reasons not to attack your opponent's characters, right? In general, against Lucci, they have a lot more non-counter cards, so putting them in pressure and you want to eat their life as fast as possible is going to be generally a very good idea, because if they get to the late game where they can play down 2 Morias and then they just survive and beat you. So you kind of have to race them down a little bit, but just keep in mind, this is more of a mid-game, go at your opponent's face. You're going to really, really hurt them at that point. And that's essentially my quick video. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure you guys like if you're liking the content. Subscribe if you want to see more. And good luck this weekend in the big tournaments. See you all in the next one. Ciao.